Good evening, everybody. We are coming at you live from the Liminal Pines. I am your host, Alan. Alan, that's my name. Don't wear it out. Don't say it too much, because I believe that if you say someone's name too much, then uh, like someone can steal your soul. That's my belief actually. Is my camera like my camera is grimy, isn't it? I'm gonna can I just use this to like, does that make it any clearer? Now maybe I'm just like, maybe I know I have installed like, I do have like an oil mister that I have that sprays oil all over uh, my place, like olive oil. I'm not Italian. I'm not Italian. All right. Um. Well, I'm sorry. I'm really just trying to get myself center in the frame here. It's very annoying. It's not gonna work. Just need to like get really close. Welcome to today's stream. As we all know, this is an art channel, first and foremost, even though sometimes it might not seem like that's the case. But rest assured, this is an art channel. And I mainly dabble in sketchbook art. I'm just like a sketchbook artist now. That's just like my thing. But sometimes I make larger pieces. But I am finished with the sketchbook currently. Well, almost finished, because at the end of every sketchbook, I like to do a little self-portrait, and we're going to be doing that here today. People who are on my Discord got a little sneak peek on what the sketch layer for the portrait looks like. Today we're just going to be inking it, of course, and if time permits, I don't know how long it'll take to do the actual inking of this right here, but if time permits, we will take a scan that I did of the original sketch here, and we'll try and ink it digitally. We'll just see how that goes. But again, that's only if time permits. I do have a tendency to ramble on. But besides all of that, I don't really have a show and tell for you all here today. You can see my cat in the background. Say hello to him. Yes, yeah. So I don't really have a show and tell for you all here today, but I do have something that is comparable and probably more interesting than a show and tell. So I'll go ahead and pull that up here for you. Of course, what we have is, and you're gonna go crazy. You're gonna go insane once you see what this is. We're gonna do a little of this. We're gonna do one of these things. This is the tier list. Where should I put myself? All around here. Maybe I should just put myself way down here. This is a tier list. If any of you don't know what a tier list is, you've been living under a rock for one, because tier lists are pretty much ubiquitous on the online space right now. And one thing I love about tier lists, when someone presents you with a tier list, it's like, this is the definitive opinion on said thing. So I just think it's really funny when I see tier lists of people are all like, I don't agree with that. You change your tier list, when in reality it's like, well, it is a subjective opinion. But today we're going to be doing a tier list of Ghibli movies. I'm quite a fan of Studio Ghibli. Some people are big Disney enjoyers. You know, they love Disney animated movies. They love The Lion King. They love Sleeping Beauty. They love Beauty and the Beast. Do people like Sleeping Beauty? People don't like Sleeping Beauty. People like Pixar. People like all of these movies. I don't really care for Disney movies all that much. I like Ratatouille. I like Ratatouille. I like The Incredibles. Um, I just named two Pixar movies. I don't adore any of the 2D Disney animated movies. Yeah. I mean, they're not bad, some of them. It's just anyways, my point is that I like Ghibli movies a lot more, and I'm just a different kind of hypocrite. You know, I'm a different kind of elitist. So instead of being like, oh, I like Japan's version of Disney. But according to this little tier list that we got right here, Studio Ghibli has animated 25 films. Now they have animated other projects outside of these films here, and Hayao Miyazaki produced some films before Ghibli's founding. What comes to mind is there's a old anime called Heidi. It's about like a sheep, I think. And then there's Castle of Cagliostro, and I've seen Castle of Cagliostro. It's good. We would probably put it in like whatever the B is here, but these are like all of the really big ones, and I have seen most of these. I have seen most of these, so I thought, since I've seen a lot of these things, and it's enough to make up comprise an entire tier list, then we can go ahead and do it. Though it does seem as if we are running into an issue of we need to pop in to do some stuff here. I hate the way that OBS does capturing. And I know a lot of it probably is just my fault as a user, but what's a window capture? What's an application capture? I don't know. I don't know. All right, it's good enough, I guess. We'll go ahead and we'll transform center screen. Of course, it's not the actual thing isn't centered. It's awful. It's the worst. The center as it's gonna get. Yeah, so before we start on this tier list here, I want to go ahead and I want to rework the categories that we have here. So I want to turn S tier so we can see what the criteria we're working with here. I guess we'll just do perfect. We'll do pretty good for that tier. We'll do meh for average. We'll do not good for bad. We gotta adjust the vernacular so we're not being too harsh. We gotta have a haven't seen, because there are some that I haven't seen. And then we got the worst movie ever. And then this one right here just doesn't exist. So we're gonna delete this row. All right. So does our criteria make sense? We'll go ahead and I'll do this somewhat quickly, and I'll just give a brief explanation as to why I think these, and we'll just go in order of how they have them here. I think, yeah, this is listed by order of release. Last movie was Boy and the Heron. First movie was Nausicaa. And yes, it's pronounced Nausicaa. First movie we have is Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. Why is it pronounced Nausicaa and not Nausicaa? Apparently, in how Miyazaki intended it, it was Nausicaa. I assume that's the Japanese pronunciation or whatever, but I don't know. Little interesting tidbit. This is also their first film, and actually before Studio Ghibli was founded. So why is it on this list? I don't know, because it's that important to the studio, but I don't think it should have been included on this list if you're going to talk about the mainline films, because it's technically not a Studio Ghibli film. Regardless of that, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind is uh and I've only seen it once. I think it's kind of meh. I think for a first film, it hits on a lot of the Miyazaki classic tropes. With that being said, I think that its plot kind of gets a little meandering, especially towards the latter half, which is something that is very consistent among a lot of his films, because the way that Miyazaki directs movies is that he comes up with the concepts and the characters, and they start animating, and he doesn't figure out the ending of it. He doesn't finish storyboarding until like halfway through production or something like that, which can lead to some very meandering third acts. And I think Nausicaa is sort of we see the start of that there. That being said, though, amazing visuals, great concepts. It has a manga that is made of it that I haven't read, but it is a behemoth of a manga, and it's so crazy that he was able to not only make a film over this concept, but an entire manga over it as well. I think he should have done another manga, honestly, if he likes drawing so much, but that's just my opinion. But whenever I think of Studio Ghibli and like Wind, this is one of the first movies that pops up in my head, because of course you can't have Miyazaki without him animating flying scenes, and this movie has some very good flying scenes, and it has some environmentalism messages. It's not one of my favorites. Next we have Castle in the Sky, and Castle in the Sky I have seen 3 times. Yeah, I've seen it 3 times. It's pretty good. Castle in the Sky follows the story of this like girl who's like a princess, and she falls down and she has a magic necklace and yada yada yada. Castle in the Sky is pretty good, and it has one of the funniest English dubs of the Ghibli movies, because whoever they got to be the actor for the girl, she goes from doing like a British accent to a country accent to like an Irish Scottish accent, back and forth, and it's very funny. And I feel bad because I know voice acting isn't an easy task, but yeah, it's very funny. This movie has some pretty good heart to it, and I think that it has some very exhilarating just sequences in general. There's this chase sequence that happens at the beginning of the movie where there's like a train track involved. The kids are running away from these bandits. Amazingly animated. The sense of motion is great. Kind of reminds me of like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. There's also this very amazing sequence in this movie where sort of they get to the titled castle in the sky, and the way that you get to it is by flying through this large thunderstorm, this monstrosity of a storm, and you sort of break past a threshold, and then it's just clear open skies with the city in the middle, and it's this amazing contrast from it being hectic and scary and just the get out of here advertisements, just being like hectic and scary and just terrifying, and then so peaceful and serene, and it's just such an amazing contrast, and that stuck with me a lot emotionally. So for that reason, we're putting it in pretty good. Next we have My Neighbor Totoro. I've seen My Neighbor Totoro 3 times. I think My Neighbor Totoro is a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie to me. I don't think it's a perfect movie necessarily. It's very slow. And some might say that it is a bit more dull. It doesn't really have a lot of action, but where it lacks in action, if you can expect action from something like this, I think that it has an immense amount of whimsy, right? Just this sense of childlike joy and wonder and bewilderment. It's sort of, whenever you watch this, you just cannot help but like feel young at heart and sort of resonate with May and her sister, as they're sort of like exploring their house and like coming up with these stories about the creatures that might live there. And is Totoro real? Is it not real? The movie tries to make you be like, oh, maybe it's just a story. I think by the end of it, it's pretty clear that Totoro is like a real figure within the confines of this story, or that's how I interpreted it, at the very least. But this is I don't think it's peak Miyazaki, but I think it's up there, and it's a really good feel good movie. And if you want to tear up just with like it being so feel good, this is definitely the movie for you. Consequently, or I guess inversely, if you want to tear up from just like crying so much, you should watch Grave of the Fireflies, and we will also put this in perfect. This is not directed by Miyazaki. It's directed by, oh my gosh, I don't know why I keep on thinking Toshio Suzuki, but it's not. Oh my gosh, it's the other one. What's the other one? I know it's got to be listed on there. He also directed. Is it on here? Are they missing a movie on here? I think they're missing a movie on here. And the yesterday Whisper the Heart Monitor. Okay. Oh no, yeah, it's right here. It's gosh. I know his name because I do love this movie. He's dead, unfortunately. He passed away in like 2015 or 2016. Regardless, it'll come to me eventually. Grave of the Fireflies is very sad. It's a sort of a World War II film surrounding two children and their I think their mother dies or is dying and has died, and they're sort of trying to survive in a I don't think it's post World War II. If it's set anywhere near World War II, it's at the tail end of World War II. I don't know if it's directly after, but it's sort of their struggle to survive, and it sort of deals with classism and sort of just what it means to be a child in Japan during this era, like an orphan. It's very sad. It is a downer. There are glimmers of hope and happiness amongst the darkness, but it sort of it the movie opens up with the brother dying. Like he it just opens up with his ghost. And hello Joe, we're doing a little Ghibli movie tier list before we get started with the stream, but glad you could make it. But yeah, Grave of the Fireflies. Uh, it's a downer, it's a downer, it's a downer, but it's it's so emotional and well done that you just can't help but put it in perfect, which is what I did here. We got Kiki's Delivery Service. Ooh, where are we gonna put this one? That's the real question. Where are we gonna put this one? I'm gonna put that one in pretty good. Why am I not putting it in perfect? I struggled because it's like, do I put it in perfect or pretty good? I think that Kiki's is a wonderful film from beginning to end, but again, it just kind of suffers from that third act meandering. And sort of, it has a purpose in Kiki's because it's kind of about the entire movie is about artistic burnout, which is it's super relevant, especially as I get older. But it's like you love working and you love doing what you love, but after a while, just you just can't bring yourself to do what you love, and sort of how do you combat that? And it's this great message on that, and it's a coming of age story, and overall just very very whimsical. Great scenes of flying. It's just I saw this one in theaters. I've seen it 3 or 4 times, but I've seen it. This ad needs to stop popping up at the bottom here. God, we're deleting you. But yeah, I do really like Kiki's Delivery Service. You have not watched anime? Well, if you're gonna start with watching anime whatsoever, I'd recommend starting with anything that I put in perfect up here. These are all movies, so they're very accessible. You can get them on streaming on DVD, or you could pirate them, I guess, if you really wanted. But I think they're honestly worth. If this if this ad down here doesn't stop, I'm gonna lose it. Um, yeah. Kiki's delivery service. It's iconic, but not perfect to me. It gets a little boring towards the end. I don't really care about her and Tombo's relationship. Um, I feel like that's not the crux of the movie. It sort of becomes the end of the movie, and it's not my favorite thing ever. Only Yesterday. What do we think about Only Yesterday? I haven't seen Only Yesterday. It's one of the few Ghibli movies that I haven't seen. So I really have no opinion on this one. I would like to watch it at some point. I keep on meaning to. I just haven't seen it. So sorry if you were hoping for my opinion on Only Yesterday. But then we have the amazing Porco Rosso. I have not seen Porco Rosso more than once. I've only seen it one time. Um, that being said, having only seen it once, I would need to reevaluate my opinion. But I'm putting Porco Rosso in perfect. This is such a fun movie, and it captures sort of that like Italian vibe very well. And just the flying scenes here are great. The ending of the movie, the final conflict is resolved with Porco Rosso and the antagonist just like beating the out of each other like in the water while people all around them cheer. It's such a fantastic a fantastically fun movie. If you like airplanes and flying, it's sort of like it doesn't go much beyond that, but like I don't know, it's got elements of sort of like anti-war, which you'll see a lot with Miyazaki films. But Porco Rosso sort of encapsulates the fun aspects of Ghibli very well. One of the more memorable protagonists here with Porco Rosso. He's great, and I feel like he's a little underrepresented in a lot of aspects. When people talk about Ghibli, they always talk about Totoro. They always talk about Kiki. They always talk about No Face from Spirited Away. And no one talks about Porco Rosso. Oh, Porco. Next movie we have is Ocean Waves. And I haven't seen Ocean Waves. Ocean Waves, if I remember correctly, is a weird outlier because I don't think there was something weird with the production of Ocean Waves. Maybe it was something with like the writing, or I think it's like the animation kind of got shunted onto another studio partway through, or something like that. But for some reason, I've heard a lot about Ocean Waves. It's very tonally different from a lot of other Ghibli movies. One of the reasons I haven't watched it yet is for that reason. So maybe I'll check it out eventually, but it's not high on my list of ones to watch. Next, we have Poko. This is directed by the same person who did Grave of the Fireflies and Tale of the Princess Kaguya and My Neighbor the Yamadas. And I cannot remember his name, and I see it there, and I see it there, and I see it really small on the thing there. And if anyone can remember his name, please tell me, because I cannot remember his name. And I love some of these movies, and I just don't know the guy's name. Oh, I know the guy's name, I just can't remember it right now because I'm under pressure. Poko though is like one of the worst movies ever made. Sorry. It does have a unique style. It's sort of framed as a mockumentary around these tanukis. But if you know anything about tanukis and sort of Japanese mythology, tanukis have very large testicles, and in Japanese mythologies, they actively use their testicles for magic, and in this movie, they do just that. But it's shot like a mockumentary. The Tanuki, they talk and have families and relationships and stuff, and they shape shift, and it's got a lot of environmentalism about it. But despite all of that, I just think the plot is terribly boring. I don't like it. It talks about like there's like family drama and relationships and stuff, and I just cannot relate to it whatsoever. I just I've only seen it once, and it was a slog to get through, and I just don't think I'll ever watch it again. So sorry, Pompoko, you're going all the way down there. Next, we have Whisper of the Heart. Whisper of the Heart. Of course, this is a Miyazaki film, and it's one of the few like slice of life non whimsy films that he's done. And I'm gonna put this one in meh. Whisper of the Heart is good, but it's not great. it's sort of about a girl who wants to write and sing and do all sorts of stuff. And it's kind of like Kiki's in a lot of the ways. It's about sort of the artistic process, but it's also kind of about like coming into your own as a creative person. And for that reason, it's hard not to relate with the protagonist. But regardless of that, I just think the plot, even though it is supposed to be slice of life, and I understand that, I just don't think the plot is amazing. And also very funnily, if you watch this, especially the English dub, this main character, she's writing a song, and it comes straight from her heart. And she says all the time, and she's like, "It comes straight from my heart." And do you know what the song is? It's a, it's a bad, it's a bad, parody of Country Roads. I'm not joking. She literally just takes the lyrics and the tune and everything of Country Roads, and she sort of changes up the words a little. And she's like, "This is my magnum opus," and I find that so funny. Um, and it kind of like cheapens the movie for me a little bit. So yeah. Um, Next we have Princess Mononoke. You're drawing right now, but you're still watching. Hey, that's good. Sharpen those drawing skills. We'll get to inking here very soon. We're almost done with this list. We're about halfway through. Next we have Princess Mononoke. This I'm a little biased. This is my favorite movie ever made. I'm putting it all the way at the very top here. This is Princess Mononoke is literally my favorite film ever produced, ever in the history of the entire world. This movie is fantastic. Again, another Miyazaki directed film. It's a longer one, and it might have a bit of a meandering third act. Some people say it does. I really don't think it does. I think because the entire movie is paced very slowly, it's it's sort of it's allowed to meander a little bit more. But it's this amazing sort of like mythic tale of sort of these forest gods that are fighting against humans, and they're each trying to reclaim the land that they're on, and they each have good reasons for needing the land. And it's about war, it's about uh, the environment, it's about sort of like family almost, or kin, I guess is the best thing to say. Princess Mononoke is fantastic. It's a beautiful film. I saw it in theaters. I've seen this movie probably like 15 times, somewhere in that ballpark. It's a comfort movie as well, and it has a killer soundtrack. So if you want to watch the best movie ever made, I recommend starting with Princess Mononoke. It's just like the nature aspect of it is just it's so good. It's so good. That's all I could really say. Next we have My Neighbors the Yamadas. I haven't seen this one. I know, bummer, right? Um, I've seen clips and stuff from My Neighbors the Yamadas, and it's directed by same fella who did Grave of the Fireflies, Tale of Princess Kaguya, Pampoka. Um, Not his last film before he died, but second to last, I believe. From what I've heard, it's like based off of it's not like I don't know if it's based off of a comic strip or just done in a comic strip style, but it's sort of like these little vignettes of this family. And I haven't seen it, and I heard that it's like a very fun. It's a movie that's made for the sake of sort of just like animation, right? Sort of like the love of animation, because you have these characters that are in all these scenarios. And I haven't seen it. We'll put it in like order of like which ones I want to watch next, if we're gonna have a list on that. Next movie we have right here is Spirited Away. Oh my goodness, this movie is perfect also. We'll put that right after Princess Mononoke. You'll see I have a little bit of a Miyazaki bias going on in the perfect tab up here. But Spirited Away, man. I've seen this probably just as many times as Princess Mononoke. This is a movie I've been watching since I was very young. I remember watching it on Cartoon Network and being very scared by it as a child. But Spirited Away, man, is again one of the best movies ever made. It's about a young girl who sort of, get this, she's spirited away to a land of ghosts and demons and sort of spirits, I guess you could say, and deities. And she's sort of like she's forced to work in this bathhouse, and the bathhouse as a setting is just it's perfect, and it feels like such an amazing lived-in space. The animation, it carries so hard in this, and just the art direction, because It's so visually striking, and it has some of the best characters in all of Ghibli. You have Yubaba, you have Chihiro, you have Haku, you have Kamaji the Boiler Man. You got all of these just like amazing, amazing, amazing characters in this one movie, and it's iconic, and it won animated picture in like 2001, I believe, for good reason. It is honestly such a perfect movie. It's so good. Um, The Cat Returns. This is actually like a spiritual sequel to Whisper of the Heart, because the girl in Whisper of the Heart is writing a story, and it involves the cat, the Baron from this movie, The Cat Returns. Um, is it as good as Whisper of the Heart? No, not at all. It is. It is. I don't know if I hated it. I didn't hate it. It's not worst movie ever made because I wasn't terribly bored. Like it's got some like good like bits of animation, and it's like it's got some of the sauce there. I just think it lacks in pacing and sort of intrigue in a lot of ways. So it's it has the promise of being a very fun movie, and it just sort of turns out to not be. Uh, I don't recommend watching it. If you see watch Whisper of the Heart and you're like, oh, let's watch The Cat Returns, you don't really need to. I think you'll be fine. Next, we have Howl's Moving Castle. Howl's Moving Castle. I've seen this one in theaters as well. I've seen it a few times actually. Howl's Moving Castle, a very, it's an amazing treat of animation. It really is. Um, that being said, it's not perfect. It's pretty good. It has a boring final act. Not boring. It's interesting in a lot of ways. It's just it. I feel like it could have been better. The final act of this movie is good, but other than that, I think it has an amazing like divulgence of information. It has amazing exposition in the first act, and it promises so much. In the second act delivers, and then the third act just kind of ready to a graph. It goes whoop whoop, peak peak, and then it goes whoop, and it goes whoosh, swoops all the way down. Um, but that being said, I still think it's worth watching. It's still pretty good, and it's one of the more iconic Ghibli films. But it's not perfect. It's like almost there. You got the characters. You got Sophie. You got Hal. You got Calcifer. Um, you got Merkel. All these great actually, and the house itself is also kind of like a little character as well. Uh, but that being said, it just needed a little bit more. That's all right. Next, we have Tales of Earthsea. This is directed by Miyazaki-san Goro Miyazaki. And sort of he has a very love-hate relationship with his father, and he's not the best director. And I haven't seen it. I've seen one of his films. I haven't seen Tales of Earthsea, but I feel like I want to see it probably a bit more than only yesterday. Tales of Earthsea is based off of book. A lot of these are based off of like sort of like children's books or pre-existing stories in concept at the very least. And Tales of Earthsea is the same. I haven't seen it, but I haven't heard good things about it. So I still want to see it though. Ponyo. I watched the first half of this movie last night. I've seen it before many times, but I was like just like rewatching some movies, and I was watching Ponyo last night, and I still have to watch the second half of it. But that being said, I'm still pretty familiar with this movie. As a piece of animation, it is just amazing. It is so good. It has these sequences where there's no dialogue and it's just music and animation, and it reminds me of sort of like Fantasia in a lot of ways. But for that, I don't think it's perfect. I think it's sort of it's a cute little story, but it doesn't like resonate very well emotionally. Like it has its moments, but I don't think it's like the most perfect movie ever. But that being said, I'd probably put it as being like an interesting movie. I'd probably put it above Castle in the Sky. Yeah, I'd probably put it above Castle in the Sky. I think Ponyo's got that charm. It sort of has this sort of like colored pencil aesthetic to it for the backgrounds, which just like it gives it so much like depth of color. It's an amazing visual audio visual treat. Let's just say. Next, we have Secret World of Arrietty. I have seen this movie twice. No, actually like three times. I saw it went because they had it on Disney Channel. Like they made a really big deal of it airing on Disney Channel back in the day because they got like Bridget Mendler and stuff to play Arrietty and the Justin Russo guy from Wizards of Waverly Place. Kind of funny, but yeah. I would put it at pretty good. It's not perfect. Uh, but it's got a lot of whimsy to it. I love sort of like they do a lot with sort of the people being small aspect of it. I know it's based off of a pre-existing story, but the animation and stuff does a really good job, sort of like uh making these tiny people feel tiny. It's just like, but it's a very like small story, which isn't bad. It's just it's not my cup of tea to be in like the perfect category, but very enjoyable movie. I recommend you go watch it. Next, we have From Up on Poppy Hill. This is also directed by Goro Miyazaki, and I also have not seen it. I would probably put it probably below Only Yesterday of wanting to see, though. I hear there's like an incest subplot somewhere hidden in this movie, and I find that very interesting. Well, I don't find it interesting, but it's odd to say at the very least. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say on that. It's like a slice of life movie. Pretty, I think. The Wind Rises. I've seen this movie once. This is another Miyazaki movie. It was going to be his final movie, and then he went to go and direct Boy and the Heron. But if you like contextualize this movie as sort of like Miyazaki's last film, I would put it in perfect. But because it's not his last film, like the emotional resonance is just a little bit like diminished. But that being said, it's still pretty good. It's a nonfiction work. It's about this guy who's building airplanes, but he's building them for the military, but he's sort of like torn between. It's kind of like Oppenheimer, but before Oppenheimer. And it's about sort of like, well, I want to build this beautiful spacecraft that pushes the boundaries of technology and wonder, but it's going to be used to kill people, pretty much. The only thing that like holds this movie back is the romance subplot is not developed perfectly. I would have to give it a rewatch though. Maybe my mind would change with the rewatch, but it's a good movie. It's got very nice little character moments, we'll say. Next we have Tale of the Princess Kaguya. This movie is amazing. I've seen it once, and I really want to watch it again, but we'll put it right after Spirited Away. This movie is fantastic. It's based off of an old Japanese folktale about the it's like the bamboo cutter, right? Um, it's animated completely different than the rest of these films. It's sort of drawn in sort of this like sort of a charcoal ink scroll style, and it is so striking compared to the house style of Ghibli. And the characters are amazing. Kaguya is a very compelling protagonist. I resonate with sort of like I resonate with her narrative and sort of she's got these like lofty expectations about her, but she sort of wants to go back to being like to things to be simpler, but it's like things aren't that simple anymore, and it's like, can you have your cake and eat it too? Uh, Probably not. But I bawl my eyes out at the end of this movie. It is it is fantastic, and this movie will make you feel things probably a bit more than it's a different kind of sadness. This is like a despair sad movie. This is like a this is crying because things are so beautiful in life, but so tragic at the same time. Next we have When Marnie Was There. I've not seen this one also, but we'll put it next up From Up on Poppy Hill because there's another incest element here, um, between these two characters, and I won't spoil that. I know a spoiler with the movie. I haven't seen it. I probably want to see it a little bit more than From Up on Poppy Hill, if I'm being honest. But just it is not something I've seen yet. I'll have to explain myself. The Red Turtle, I also haven't seen. This is technically not a Ghibli movie. I think it just has Ghibli animators. I don't think there was any Ghibli involvement with the writing, or maybe it's just bits were outsourced. I can't remember, but I heard it's got no dialogue in it, or it's got no dialogue. It doesn't have dialogue in it, if I remember correctly. But I really want to see it. I feel like I would enjoy this movie. I just haven't brought myself to see it. Well, my list of haven't seen is growing bigger than any of my other lists. I'm sorry. Why am I even doing this? Earwig and the Witch. Not good. This is also directed by Goro Miyazaki. It's not a very good movie. It's the first Ghibli movie to try a 3D style, and I think they should just stick with 2D. It's sort of like, it's this bastardization of the Ghibli style. And it's like, just because everyone else is going into 3D animation doesn't mean you need to. Because this movie looks awful. It's got awful lighting. The animation is just not good. The timing is awful. That being said, the concept is intriguing, and there are bits and pieces, sequences in the movie where I'm like, oh, like this movie's not awful, and then it kind of just like takes a nosedive. And I think they like ran out of budget or something for making this film, and so the final act of this film kind of just comes out of nowhere, and things get resolved really quickly, and you're like, oh, the movie just like ended out of nowhere, and it wraps everything up in a nice little bow, and none of it feels earned. So Earwig and the Witch, I do not recommend. I don't even think you should watch it, honestly. You are not missing out on anything. Then finally we have we got Boy and the Heron. This movie is great. This movie is absolutely fantastic. Boy and the Heron. I saw it in theaters, saw it at IMAX, saw it in theaters twice. It's the first Ghibli movie that I've been able to go and see like in theaters at time of release. And I'm really glad I did. Because it is amazing. It's about a boy who's dealing with the grief and trauma of his mother perishing in a hospital fire, and sort of him coming to accept that in his new life. But it's pointed by this journey to essentially like he goes to like hell, kinda. He goes to the afterlife, but like also it's an amazing movie about not only like grief and acceptance, but also like legacy. And it's got some like amazing like subtext in it. And I heard some people reviewing this movie, and they were all like, oh, it's just another Miyazaki movie. It's just another movie about the Miyazaki tropes, the classic hits. And I just don't know what those people are smoking, because this movie, I think is just so wonderful. And I love it. It's definitely one of my favorites, and that's why we're putting in the perfect here. But okay. Looks like we're out of movies. If Castle of Cagliostro were in here, I'd probably put it in the pretty good category. But yeah. If Ni no Kuni, I haven't played it. I'd probably put it in the pretty good. I don't know. I know they did the artwork and animation for the cutscenes of that game, but haven't played it, so I don't know. Neither have I seen any of the animated shorts that have been at the Ghibli theme parks in Japan. So, yeah, this is my final ranking. If you think I'm wrong, please dislike the video. If you're already subscribed, unsubscribe from me, block my channel, because obviously we're not allowed to have disagreements at all. But yeah, I feel pretty confident with all of these rankings. I definitely feel confident with these because I haven't seen any of them. So I have to be confident that I haven't seen them, because I just haven't seen them. And I'm pretty confident with Pompoko being all the way down here. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let's do some sketchbooking. We're gonna go ahead and turn everything off. Boop. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna. Are we done? Yes, we're done. We're finally done. Woo! We're gonna sort of like drag myself all the way over here. We're gonna pop the camera down. We're gonna look at the final 10 pages or so of the sketchbook, and we're gonna get to inking the final sketch of said sketchbook. I hope you're all excited, because I sure am. In the meantime, we're gonna put on a buffer. You hear me blowing bubbles into my coffee. Oh, I'm drinking my drink of choice today is decaf coffee, by the way, because I'm a caffeine addict. Yeah, I'm a caffeine addict. So I need to not drink caffeine all the time. I love setting up the camera on my phone because it's just very annoying sometimes. Not that not that streaming is annoying, but sometimes like my setup that I have here isn't perfect. It's not optimized for everything that I need to do. Regardless of that, still enjoy doing it. I'll pop my thing out here. I think we're all lined up here. Boom. Well, it's not. I need to resize it, of course. Get that out of the frame too. I'm sure there's a way to like actually resize this to a constant size. But I'm too lazy to do that. But okay. Is it okay if you don't chat? No, yeah, it's fine. No, you live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell you what to do and what not to do. No, don't say anything heinous in the chat. That's all. My only rules are just don't say anything that would get you banned from a public library. Okay. We'll sort of pop in. Yeah, we'll pop in right here. We'll show you off the final pages of the sketchbook. All in all, I'm gonna make a little sketchbook tour video in the future, obviously, but I'll let you know my opinions of it now. I'm very happy with this sketchbook. I think I sort of got into my groove after a very uninspired and unenthused previous sketchbook, and I feel like I got my mojo back with this one. Yeah, I've definitely managed to be a bit more consistent than I have been with the previous sketchbook. Partly it's the reason I've been able to manage sort of my wrist pain a bit better through intense physical therapy. But there's some sketches that I really like in the sketchbook, and I want to try for the sketchbook tour video for this one right here specifically. I want to try and make a 10-minute video that is like non-linear, and by that I mean like I'm not going to be doing what I'm doing here and sort of just like flipping through it and talking. I kind of want to structure it in terms of like themes of sketches. So since this sketchbook is primarily focused on backgrounds, textures, perspective, and expressions, I'll probably center the video around those 4 criteria, and we'll sort of jump around a lot. So I hope that would make it more engaging for people to watch. Maybe, I don't know. I'll probably have to write a script for it, though, which isn't wrong, a bad thing. I like writing scripts for videos. I love writing. Sort of see. Don't know if I think this is all new for all of you. I started doing a lot of freehand stuff with these actually. The next sketchbook is we're doing I'm gonna try and focus more on like freehand plein air sketches, and by that I mean just sort of like not having a pencil outline underneath, sort of just like taking my sketchbook out and sketching from sort of like life, pretty much. I feel like I need that. I need to do that more. So that's gonna be the goal with the next sketchbook. This is plein air right here. There's no pencil outline, and I just had the still life. I had this stool and this plant in front of me, and I sort of just like started drawing. This right here, this is a little bit of in circles lore. but I was just like, I'm very happy with it because this is done from reference. But this is all from the noggin. Like this pose and everything, like this is all done with just my own creativity, and I'm very happy with it. Um, Sort of like thinking about composition and storytelling and everything, and I needed to do that more. I think we have a little subway. This is done from a reference image, but I thought the composition of it was cool with this sort of like it's not a foreground element, but it's sort of like a framing element of the environment with this right here, and it's sort of one point perspective because everything's just converging onto one point. If you look here, horizon line is more or less in the center of the frame. And then here we have the final sketch in the sketchbook. And this is what we're going to be inking today. I spent like 2 days or so like sketching this up. And I thought that it would be nice to not be rushed on stream to have to draw this like on stream, and I wanted to give myself some more time to sort of like figure out proportions and everything and sort of settle on this right here. And there's a lot of erasing involved. Likely will be more erasing involved, but now that we're here, I can start inking it, and you can see the finished product. And then I'm gonna fill this page with like stickers and stuff. It doesn't really need to be drawn on, really. I'm gonna put on my headphones so I can listen to music during all of this, and sort of I'm gonna talk through sort of my choices in inking. But if you have any questions or if you just want to like chat, feel free to. This is gonna be a very chill segment of the stream. And I got my little drink. Don't worry. Or if you want me to shut up too, let me know. Like if you think I'm talking too much, let me know. Oh, please let me know. All right, we're gonna pull this in. No, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. So I think the pens that I primarily am going to be using for this are I'm going to be using my um, Sailor Fude de Menin for mainly for like the the me for me the self portrait of me, and my brother, that's my brother behind me, by the way. And I'm going to be using the Pellet Kakuno for sort of like the background, and I'll be using a mix of both for this foreground element. So we're gonna get started. The reason I'm using this one right here is because again, you're able to get nice, thick, varied lines with the nib. If you guys want, I can show you. There's a new video in the pipeline, but I can show you the script for it, and I'm sort of talking about why fountain pens are great for sort of leveling up your art game. So look out for that video. So I sort of have it already done right here with the pencil, you can sort of see, but we're looking for thick lines where there would naturally be shadow and thin lines for things that are either far away or sort of like blasted by light. So that's what we're going to try and do here. And I think the best way to start this would be sort of to do my head right here, or my chin, because that bit would be in shadow. And we're not looking to be like to be like perfect, because I could sit here all day like to chase reflection. You'll see here that we are working with sort of this would be this would be kind of like a 4 point perspective, or like fisheye. It's technically 5 point perspective because there is like a converging point in here somewhere, but it's not very pronounced. So it's a I would consider this more like 4 point perspective because we're not doing anything that's super crazy, and the composition isn't very uh it's not that traditional fisheye where it's like massive, like a big like massive circle, but you can sort of see the outlines of that there. Do I color? Sometimes I do a lot more. I, I try and stick with sort of just inking really, and sort of like values, just doing like grayscale values, just because that as like an artist that sort of makes more sense to me. Um, that being said, I have done color before. Mainly it's just like an accent to the rest of the piece. Um, but I really like sort of the effects you can get with like hatching and cross hatching. Um, so you won't really see a lot of coloring necessarily from me, and it's probably gonna stay that way. Um, you could say that maybe I'm afraid of color theory, but that's not really the case necessarily. Though that also, that being said, I do think it's important for people to study color theory because it will inform sort of like decisions you can make even in black and white. Wait, I need to say why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I think my facial hair looks very stupid sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Hmm. I think I want to do like a double line up here because you're seeing the top of sort of this like collar. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see sort of like the three dimensionality of it. That's why I'm doing that double line there. Voice crack. I'm gonna move my desk up slightly. Um, Slightly thickish line there. We don't need a crazy thick line here. Sometimes I need to like reorient the way that I'm sitting in order to do this. Inking is fun because even though you have like a pencil layer underneath, you're still having to do a lot of like micro decisions when it comes to sort of uh like line thickness and stuff. Uh Maybe it's something you didn't account for in like your like original sketch. But inking can be very fun for that reason. I think that can be a bit thicker because that's going to be sort of in shadow a bit more, but it might get a bit thinner as sort of it comes down here, so maybe we don't want to emphasize that as much. Like that right there. We'll probably do some hatching, like vertical hatching here to show sort of like that the collar has like some like ribbing to it. Same with like the sleeve here. We'll give this sleeve a little bit of three-dimensionality. Hey there, hello Levins, how are you doing today? Whoa. Hmm. Those of you who are familiar with the way that I like, you're probably wondering why I drew myself looking so weird. It's because I didn't really use a reference when I was drawing the 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 actual self portrait here. So um, it's sort of like it's the memory of like how I think I look, if that makes any sense. But I thought I was like, okay, I don't want to go for like perfect realism. I wanted to like stylize it a bit more with the expression and stuff. So like that's kind of the decision making process for that. I'm gonna sort of darken up the underside of the fingers here because those are gonna be a bit more in shadow. The hands aren't perfect here. It's been a while since I've like actually like studied like hand drawing really, so it's like it looks a little wonky. I need to go back and re-review sort of like my hand anatomy, but I did the best I could with what I had. Yo. So that's more or less all of me inked out. Let's go ahead and start inking out a bit of like the foreground here. We'll do texture work and stuff. Uh, we'll do more texture stuff once we get like erased on this. I kind of just want to do like the outlines mostly. Like I'll texture up like the hair and like the jacket and stuff mostly. Yeah, I'll give this do that up. For this I want to sort of go do like a thick to thin, so I'm gonna sort of like, we're gonna like taper it by like pulling the pen this way and like keep it a bit more vertical right here. And the details there don't really need to be perfect. They're not the forefront of everything. Like we don't really need too much detail because I'm hoping the effect of the perspective here will do a lot of like the heavy lifting of like the intrigue of all of it, you know what I mean? I think the line of this desk should be a bit thicker. Like that. All of that shape drawing has come in clutch here, that I will say. Damn, if Wi-Fi is glitching for some reason. Hello again. Oh, hello again. You've missed so much. Yeah, you have missed. You've actually. This stream is ending now. Actually, sorry. No, I'm jesting. I'm joking. Sort of making that side a bit thicker because the sort of like we're gonna be seeing a little bit more of the underside of it because it is facing us. Here's just like a little miscellaneous piece of trash that doesn't really need any like detail or anything. Maybe it's like gum, maybe it's something from a wrapper. I said we'll wait to do the hatching, but I don't really want to do the hatching on this little chip bag right here, right now. I'm really just adding these circles for just like visual entry, you know? Like they don't really need to be there. It's like they don't really represent anything. Even with these ones, it's like, oh, is that like change? Like, I don't know. Maybe my storytelling's off. Maybe it should be something. Same thing with this, like, oh, is it like a stick of gum? Like rounding this out. Then this bit over here, this is supposed to be like a little carousel of like stuff. We're gonna sort of because the detail is going to be mainly up here. But we're not going to do too much like detailing here. We're going to sort of like sketchiness it up because it's not the main focus. You know, it's like you want to get all your details sort of uh in different places, like or at your focal point. Well, this isn't the focal point, so it doesn't need to be very clean. Except remember, I told you the song I was working on. I wanted you to make a cover for it. Yes, and I can do that now because I have I do have digital art tools. But I know you are probably aware from them. But yeah, I remember the song. Is the song finished? There you go. It's a mess of shapes over there. We don't got to worry about it though. So we got that all done. We'll go ahead and do the little miscellaneous scribblings here. I don't want to. This is my brother back here, but I don't want to. He's not really the focal point of it, so I don't want to use lines that are too thick for him, if you know what I mean. Even though I do like he's not the focal point of this artwork necessarily, so we don't want to go too crazy with him. He's got his silly little face going on back there. Hee 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 ha. Oh my goodness! Speaking of hee 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 ha, I've been getting really into Clash Royale here recently. Clash Royale is such a fun game. If you'd be interested in a Clash Royale stream, let me know. I'll become a Clash Royale streamer overnight. Ugh. I gotta be careful. I need to remember that I'm fully capable of smudging everything that I am working on here. I know the thumb looks a little weird. I had to change like the I was like holding like my thumb in front of my face, you know what I mean, to the best of my ability, and I was like trying to sketch from that. um, I think maybe I should do this bit next, because this is cell technically and like closer than the background. It'll be a bit darker, but it won't be as dark as like some of the foreground elements. Bingo. Wait, the song is finished. I got someone drawing something for me already. This person wants to see if I like the concept. If I don't end up using that person's drawing, of course, yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. That would be awesome. And I'm not like, don't feel like obligated because, you, you know what I mean. Don't feel like obligated because like you were talking about beforehand. Like if you choose to go with somebody else's, that is completely fine. That's completely fine with me. But yeah, if it ends up like not working out with the other person, I would be more than interested. We can get something together. Mm. But I still appreciate you you thinking about me for that. I mean, seriously, that is very very kind. Um, uh, I'm flustered. Honestly, I'm so flustered. Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Do you if you don't mind me asking, I mean, maybe it's not something that you could speak on clearly, and I'm like, what is the concept? Not even like for like a me like scoping things out, but I'm like I am just genuinely curious like what the concept is. Okay, let me get a. Wait, I should probably do the text bubble first because that's gonna be up here, but then we'll get the background elements afterwards. Mm. Also, what's the genre of the song? Because I know you've like hopped around a little bit, at the very least. I'm also curious about that. Hmm. So here's the thing with this background. It's not very detailed, and we don't want it to be very detailed because I guess it is in the background. So we want to. I'm gonna try and like. I'm gonna try and like wobbly it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna try and like draw like very like light. It's like we don't want to do too much back here. You really don't have your work as cover. You can always draw something for another song. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, sure. We would definitely. I mean, I know this is something that like we can like work out later if it ever comes to fruition. Just like canvas sizes and stuff. Like I know like in order to upload something to YouTube, you need to have like a certain file size. That's probably something that we would need to discuss, and I'm sure you probably like familiar with all that sort of stuff. So I'll rant on and on about that. Here's the cool thing about having this little speech bubble here. It's like we can cover up a lot of this like sort of like meticulous detailing, that we need to have back here. The one out. Alex G. I think it sounds a bit like his music. Oh wait, the song is very indie. I would say it includes acoustic guitar, harmonica, drum, stuff like that. It was cool sound effects using plugins. Nice. No, Alex G. Yeah, I have heard some not a lot, but I think I've gotten some Alex G like on my like like when you listen on Spotify, you can set it to like discover or something. I like fairly certain that I have gotten some Alex G songs on there. I can't wait to hear it whenever you do. Whenever you do drop it. People gave you feedback already. Feedback is like one of the scariest things ever because it's like whenever I ask people for feedback, I'm like tear into it. You know what I mean? And so, but like that also like makes me scared because I'm like, oh, this person's gonna like tear into this thing that I worked hard on. But it's like it's gonna make something like better in the like future. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you could relate to that. Yeah, we're keeping it very sketchy in the back here. You know, you're gonna release because that Dark Noir song of mine just came out yesterday. It didn't show me. Normally, Spotify show me on releases. Wait, I have Spotify open right now. Let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and listen to it. on here. Also, I didn't listen to much music yesterday, so maybe that's probably why I didn't see it. Where are you? It's called Hear Me Now. Lovely. We'll go ahead and... Oh my gosh. It's... Messing around with my stuff on here is so annoying. Let's see it. All right. We got some guitar. So are you playing? You are playing all these instruments yourself, correct? Because if that's the case, that is amazing, man. Or even if not, okay, okay, it's amazing either way. Like having like the working knowledge of like how like music works. You know what I mean? Whoa, drums are cool. Everything hears you. That is awesome, man. That is so cool. Well, I love how like moody this is. You can't see me right now, but I'm like nodding my head. Yeah, no problem, man. This is this is like really cool. Well, I love the I love like the I don't know if you what you would call that, like a it's not like a riff. Would it be like a riff that like repeating like guitar motif that she like got going through there? That's like really dope. Whoa. I, I can't tell what instrument that is, but it's like it's not the guitar. Maybe it is a guitar beforehand, but it almost sounds kind of like a brass instrument or something. I don't know like what that would be, but that's like so cool. Levin, you cooked with that one. That's awesome. That is so cool. That is so cool. Blah. All right. So we really finished inking like the main bits of this right here. People tell me they like the riff a lot. Like this riff is so simple. You're constantly using that riff out. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, dude, that riff is awesome. Like I'm glad that you went with that. That's so cool. That's so cool. Gosh. Wait, maybe I need to learn how to make music now. No, there was a point in time where I was like, I'm gonna learn how to make music, and then I like for a week I like started like trying to like figure out how to do it, and then I just didn't. I was like, this is too hard. I'm gonna do something else. So the fact that you have stuck with it, that's amazing, dude. That's so cool. That is like so cool. We're going ahead and we're gonna try and start getting some of this like penciling up right here so we can do some more texture work. Especially all this junk over here. You know, I like that song so much. I'm gonna listen to it again, actually. You text me on Discord. Epic. Amazing. All right. So real question with everything going on here with the inking, it's what bits do we want to be dark and which do we not want to be dark? You know what I'm saying? Or do we need like any like black fills? That's like the question that I'm gonna be trying to like get a read on as I'm like looking at this. We're gonna start with I am gonna like do texturing though to sort of like try and like give it a little bit more than just like the line work, you know? So it's like that needs some ribbing. Insane drawing, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to like, I was like, because it's sort of like a 4 point almost fisheye sort of thing. I wanted to like create, like, I didn't want to like draw myself like verbatim. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to like create like almost like a caricature of myself, and this is what I landed on. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it looks so weird, but like also I'm like, it like kind of needs to look a little weird. You know what I mean? My brother, who's the fella in the back right here, he said that we look like characters from the Bully, which is a Rockstar game. Mm. It really looks so professional. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, I want to like I need to like drawing this. I've been like I need to experiment with like more. Like I need to start like doing like more like insane like compositions and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I really need to sort of like I need to like branch out and like start like expanding the like actual like artistic horizons, which like I know that's not something that you do overnight, but it's like I need to like kick it into gear and like really start making things that like I like think are like cool. Not that I don't like draw stuff that I think is cool, but it's like maybe I need to do that just slightly more. It's right here. Like, how do I even? I'm just gonna like darken it right there because it's supposed to be like a. I don't know if it's like a paint can or something. Like I don't know. Same thing with like this back here. Like oh, it's just maybe it's like a miniature version of that thing. Maybe we'll wrap a like a thing around it like that. Do like a little visual, like a little motif there. Oh my posture today is like awful. I don't want you all to see me because my posture is like so bad right now. Um, what do I want to? I think I want to like darken like my hair some, and I think the way I'm gonna do that is with like I'm not gonna contour hatch. I think I'm just gonna do this. How much would I owe you for a cover? I would have to get back to you on that. It would not be anything egregious. I can already promise you that already. I would have to do some research on that. Again, it would be nothing egregious. Um, but I don't know. I have not given any of that. I'll discuss that. We can discuss that uh when we get closer to then. $3,000. $3,000. Well, I don't. The reason I'm saying like I need to do some research is like I don't really sell a lot of art, so it's like that's not really something that like I've ever given any thought before. But I'll be able to get you uh, an estimate on that. I'll go to the Fiverr at $5. Fiverr is really good. I don't know if any of you have like used Fiverr before. I had like some artists make me a little joke thing for one of my friends, and I was like, wow, there's like artists like this that are just text you in Discord. Okay, yeah, 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 for sure. Um, but like, yeah, it's like there's some like really really amazing artists on just chilling on Fiverr. They're like making masterpieces for like I won't say pennies. It's not pennies, but sometimes some people like sell them so short, and I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Hmm. I'm thinking that for I want to say for the jacket here, I kind of want to do. See, here's the thing. I don't know if I want to do an ink wash for the entire back here and just leave all that's probably what I want to do, but I need to figure out how I'm going to darken the coat here because I don't want to do an ink wash in the back and then an ink wash like up here. You know what I mean? I'm doing some problem solving here. Thinking. Maybe I'll go the hatching route, same as the hair. See, I don't want to. I don't know. You're falling asleep, texting on Discord after you're doing your research. All right, have a good night. Yeah, no, 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 for sure. Get your rest, man. Thank you for hopping in the stream. I do appreciate it. But dude, seriously, thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, I feel like having like doing like this here, I think this is where digital would come in good because I could just import this into like digital program and then like uh I could import this in and I could just mess around with like different ways to like texture things and not have to commit right away. You know what I mean? The part of the joy of inking is that you kind of have to commit a little bit. So there's that, obviously. But yeah. Hmm. I don't know if I want to do like lined or should I just go black? Should I just go black for the jacket? I'm thinking that might be just the best case, honestly. I need to think this through. I need to like imagine it real quick. That would give a good focal point. You know what I mean? Having just like the black in the front, in the center of the frame. I mean, this is gonna be the focal point no matter what, since it's like in the center of the frame. Okay, to the people watching, should I to anyone who is still watching, should I do black for this jacket specifically? Would that be a good idea? Because I could just do this and I could like mess it up. Because I'm gonna do an ink wash with this brush pen all the way back here. So we have to think of that. Hmm. Wait, I could always just wait. Wait, I could just wait. I don't know why I'm like having like I'm like trying to think about this so hard. I'm just gonna ink. I'm just gonna do a wash on the back and then I'll figure it out afterwards. We'll do that instead. I love you, ink wash. I really don't care if it bleeds on to the page behind. Right there. It was very messy, but that's okay. I need to sort of touch that back there. Hmm. Maybe instead of no, maybe instead of making it dark, maybe I just need to do like shadows. You know what I mean? So like that right there. Just to like help give it a little bit of depth. Yeah, I think that might be the route, actually. So like for like this under here. Hmm. And a little bit of shadow in there. Maybe also with this right here, since that's kind of... Try and do a little bit of textured shadow back there. Yeah, that's good. Hmm. Herm. Dang, I can't really think of another thing to add to this. No, I still don't know if the jacket would benefit from being... I don't know if the jacket would benefit. Would the jacket benefit from being dark? Oh, a little bit of shadow there. Hmm. Go ahead, I'm on. What do you think about it? What are we thinking about? What are we guess I could like touch up with this. I think like maybe okay, maybe it's just this. No, maybe I think that's what my concession will be. I think just the maybe the shirt underneath needs to be like this right here, just needs to be dark. think that's my concession. Maybe I will go ahead and, maybe in order to sort of like unify it a bit, I'll go ahead and I'll do some of this on top of it. It kind of looks like a sweater almost, if you really do, if you think about it like that. Maybe another thing I could do. I think maybe for these stripes, I'll go ahead and I'll dark them up. Yeah, you know what? I think that helps to unify it quite a bit. Because beforehand it was just like white on white, but now that has a bit of a black, it sort of like helps. It helps a bit with the sweater underneath. I think maybe. This could be a bit thicker. Because that would make sense for like the cuff to be the same, right? Alright, I'm gonna be real. I can't think of anything else that I can do to this. I feel like I also like I don't want it to like look perfect. Like I want to like leave a little bit of roughness, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm laying down? Guess that would need to be darkened as well. All right. I think I'm gonna call it there. I don't want to overwork it because like I mean potentially like I could overwork this, and I'm very bad about that. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna sit on it. We're gonna call it a night there. I know I said I would probably try and digital ink this, but like honestly, I've been streaming for exactly 2 hours now, and I'm tired. I'm sleepy. So that okay. Thank you everybody for watching. That was the final page of this sketchbook. Once it all dries, I'm gonna go through and erase like the, because like there's still some penciling that you can see underneath there. But once it's all dried, I'm gonna go through and erase it, and then yeah. I'm very sleepy now. I have not eaten dinner yet either. I'm gonna pop the camera. Take a look at it. I'm gonna pop the camera back up, real quick, and we'll call. We'll say our sleepy time good nights. We'll see. You guys just want the camera to be this close. I'm gonna blur the background, and watch this. blur the background, and then we get you this going on right here. All right. I think this is like the perfect way to like end streams now. You know what I'm saying? Especially like see, if we're talking about fish islands, like this would be like fish islands. If it was like right here, like up really close. Dude, don't look at me like this. This is disgusting. You're even to see like every little nook and cranny of me. I'm sorry about that. Um, thank you everybody for watching this stream. It has been an amazing night. And I'm very happy to have finished out the sketchbook. It feels good to finish things and to move on to other things. Um, Next week we will be streaming again. Um, I don't know what we're gonna be doing next week. We might do some digital art next week since we did some traditional today. So I'll keep you updated on what we want to do there. But other than that, I'll keep you updated with how the sketchbook goes. Uh, if you want to, if you want to talk, if you want to share your art, or if you want to talk to other artists in the community, go ahead and hit up the Discord. I'll put the link to that in the bio. And it's nice over there. We're all very cool over there. So if you want to have a community like that, well, go ahead and join that Discord. We'll have a good time. You think of anything else? Okay, I'm gonna go eat dinner. When I think I smell something cooking. It smells delicious. Well, I hope that everybody has a great night, and we'll catch you. We'll catch you. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Also, I'm going to be filming a new video probably tomorrow night. And I'm going to be editing the video over the course of the next week or two. So keep an eye out for that. And then afterwards, there will be another video that's going to be like the sketchbook tour, but you already knew that. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, well, we will catch you. We will catch you next week. Goodbye. Goodbye.